Hi, this is Dr. Randy Hurst. I am doing some videos about different tools that a person might use to explore themselves, changes they want to make, and this one is take off of one that I recently did on writing. Partly it comes from a saying that I heard when I worked in Alaska. It was something that I don't know if it was just the local Alaska Native population that had this saying, or if it's the only place I've heard it, I guess. And the saying is, first the name makes the man, and then the man makes the name. Of course, nowadays we'd have to say person, but what does that mean? And the idea here was that you're given a name, and especially in a culture, a communal culture like the Alaska Native culture, where even though it's a 700-mile long community, people know each other. Their families are very connected. Clans are very connected. Because it's so sparsely populated, there's just a lot of knowledge of other people, and people are related both in a blood way and in what I used to refer to as an Indian way. You're given a name, and that name to other people gives a sense of the parents' hopes and dreams for you, because that name is connected to the reputation of the person that you got it from. Might be a grandfather, an uncle, a parent, something like that. But then as an adult, first, as a child, you're expected to live up to that name, to the person that you're named after. As an adult, then you start making your version of that name. You start affecting the memory of that name, because now the memory is of you. So who are you? Are you happy with who you are? Are there things that you want to change? And what kinds of changes do you want to make? So this video focuses on how to clarify who you are, how to clarify where you're going, what you want to be. So if this is interesting, keep watching. If not, see ya. Okay, so here's the idea. Used to have people in treatment write their own obituary. Now this is not so much the obituary that could be written today, because I used to have people who were, by the time I saw them, were very much in trouble, very much had difficult times, and would have a hard time being proud of who they've become. The issue was how to define who they want to be more of. So the question is, what would be written in an obituary that might be written years from now? What would you want somebody to want to be able to say? This isn't an obituary you write for them to put in about you. It's what you would hope that somebody who cares about you would want to write about you. In doing that, it helps to clarify what changes you want to make, what specifics that you want to become more of. And that's a real key to many of the things that you'll hear from me, is people often want to stop doing bad things. I want to stop drinking, stop gambling, stop overeating, whatever it would be. I want to stop doing these bad things. I want to stop being afraid. And, I've just not seen it be real successful, because even if it's successful for this long, if you lapse back into an old behavior, it can feel like failure. And it doesn't do a good job of defining what you're trying to be more of. So I turn it around and really focus on what you want to be more of. So this would be what you would want somebody to be able to write about you 5, 10, 20 years from now. And it doesn't have to be an obituary. It's just a way that people get. So, what would you be different? How would you act? How would you be around people? What are the things that you would want to stop doing? But at the same time, because, that could be in an obituary. He used to, but then he or she did this, became this. What are the things that they would be describing that you did more of? This gives you a blueprint for how your day, your week are going. It gives you a way of knowing, are you keeping on track? Revisit. And then do in the writing to write, or writing to get right. That's a way of journaling or a way of tracking what you've done well and what little things you want to make sure you do tomorrow. It keeps it in small steps that can allow you to focus on actual physical activity changes that you make, because it's the doing that rewrites what's going on in the brain activity, that overrides the old automatic patterns if you've had a long-term pattern of problems or of doing things that have caused problems. And just know that whether you write these things, whether you have great intentions, whether you really have a good picture of doing it, of the changes you're making, you'll probably have to very mechanically do the new things early on because it won't feel right. You won't remember it unless you keep track, keep a list, and in this case, use the long term, the obituary, as a way of gauging, well, what can I do today? How did I do today? What can I do tomorrow that can let me keep on track, keep moving in this direction I'm trying to move? Form the vision using the obituary, and then use the list making and the writing to keep it going. Okay, I think that covers what I wanted to say. If this makes sense, try it. What would that be that you would want people to remember you with? And then mostly do it. Okay, I'll get some more monster taming and change making kinds of videos out there than I have so far, because I've been working on what are the problems first.